Alright, we got a long drive ahead, so figured I'd get this video out on NFL week 3. I won't go too much into last week. We'll just kind of bang out the plays, get this on before the weekend. So Thursday today, so we got Thursday night football. Browns and Steelers. When I thought about this line, well, I make my lines before I look at what the line is. So when I first thought about it, I was thinking, Browns right around -4. And then it came out, I want to say it started at 5 or 5.5, and then it immediately got slammed down. And then I started thinking about it a little bit more, taking into account, the Steelers more. And I just don't know how they're going to move the ball. I don't know how they're going to score points. Last week against Patriots, I had the Patriots, and they couldn't do anything. They scored some garbage time points to make it look, like a close game, but really, the game was over since the second quarter, basically. And the Patriots aren't that good. They have no offense. Their defense isn't that great. So I think the Browns have a better roster. The Browns have a better defense. They have a better running game. So with the injuries to the D-line of the Steelers and the fact that their offense is just trash, I think this line should actually be closer to a -6, maybe 6.5. If you think about it, the line closed Patriots -3, and that was on the road in Pittsburgh. Now, home field advantage is probably worth like 1.5 points these days. So if you flip that, Patriots would be -6 at home, and a better team in the Browns is only -4, 4.5. So the line should be higher than that. It should be about 6, 6.5. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna take the Browns at the points here. Just truly off of a numbers aspect, and like I said, with the running game and the defense, I see this not really getting out of hand, but more like a 20-13 type game. Maybe the under is a good play, but I hate taking unders in the NFL. You just don't know what's going to happen. Fourth quarter, garbage time points, something like that. So Browns and the points is the play here. First game on the card would be the Vikings and Detroit Lions. Let me get some of my coffee. It's not that bad. Anyways, Vikings opened up after the game. They reopened up on Monday Night Football. They reopened the line about -6, 6.5, and dropped to 6. And it's pretty much stayed at 6 the whole time since that reopening of the line. And they obviously didn't look good on Monday Night Football. They got behind early. They had a lot of drop passes. The offense was they looked terrible, to be honest. I think if you went back and just counted all the drops, I want to say they had about 7 or 8 drops. And then they were down pretty big, so they got to start throwing the ball. And Slay he was in Jefferson's ass that whole game. Jefferson couldn't do anything. And then Kirk was under pressure the whole game. They'd just blitz with 5. And he would just have to throw it up real quick. I gotta fix this real quick. Hold on. But, one second. Alright. So yeah, they got down early, and when you're down to the Eagles, their D-line's gonna feast on you. Add in the blitz, the fact that you have to throw the ball. They had no chance of coming back in that game. That's why we slammed the Eagles second half, and it ended up being 0-0 in the second half, which is stupid. But the Eagles would drive down, and then they'd punt, or they had a fumble or something too. Anyways, we hit the Eagles pretty hard. It was just a bad matchup for Minnesota that game. Now you come into this game off of a bad loss, Monday Night Football. You want to kind of get that bad taste out of your mouth. You get a bad Detroit defense. The offense is going to go crazy. The only issue here is if the defense is going to continue to give up big plays like they did in Monday night. Obviously, with St. Brown, you got Swift. You'll probably get a Jared Goff interception or so, maybe a fumble. I would have the Vikings at -7. I think they win by a touchdown. The issue when you do that, betting against the Lions, they like to score a lot of garbage time points. They might be down 20 points and then lose by 3 in the end or something like that. So I'll probably still play the Vikings small at -6, but I really like them on like a money line parlay. We could always find someone, even if you throw in the Browns with them. I like that. But yeah, we'll move on to the next one. We have Patriots in Baltimore. So this opened up, it was -3 for Baltimore right when it opened, and we slammed the Patriots +3. This is another, and it's not a play on New England because I don't think they're very good. It's more of a play against Baltimore. Baltimore had on the scoreboard, it looked like a great week 1 against the Jets, but really their offense is very lackluster, I guess you would say. They have Mark Andrews, they have Dunnervay, or however you say his name, and then obviously Lamar Jackson, but they just can't consistently drive down the field. They can make big plays, but they're not going to consistently drive down the field. And that's why we bet against them with Miami last week, and that was a crazy game. But you had the kickoff, you had a huge play to Dunnervay. But then come third, fourth quarter, they couldn't drive down the field. The defense was getting eaten alive. They have too many injuries in the secondary. And I think you're not going to see the high-scoring game like you did last week. I think this will be more, a lot of punts, probably a lot of field goals. I do think New England wins this game. I'd say they win 20-17, somewhere in that range, 24-20, something like that. I just don't think Baltimore's offense is that good, and I think it's a good time to bet Cincinnati to win that division if you have a line, because you still have 2 games head to head. You're being 0-2 right now is really not that big a deal, and like I said, with Baltimore, their offense is going to struggle. Their defense is really going to struggle. They don't have much in the secondary. You're going to be able to score some points on them. I think it's a good time to start fading them. But yeah, I think New England wins that game. If they don't, they'll at least cover the 3. Look at my note card. We got New Orleans and Carolina. We bet against New Orleans last week. Bet on the Bucks. Everyone was like talking about these trends with Tom Brady can't win in New Orleans. Just stupid trend shit. Anyways, with this game in particular, I like New Orleans. I like them a lot this year, and I think they're going to be a playoff team. But their offense has not really looked that good. Excuse me. They came back against Atlanta late in the fourth quarter. But other than that, they've struggled through 7 quarters so far. And Carolina, while they haven't, their offense has looked bad. Their defense has played pretty well. And I think they'll be able to hold New Orleans, somewhere around 20, 23 points. Now, I don't know if they'll be able to score against that New Orleans defense because their offense has looked so bad. So I'll probably just stay off this game. If I had to guess, I would say New Orleans wins probably exactly by 3. I don't see them running away with any games right now with how the offense is playing. So to say, laying 3 points, say they got to win by 4, 6, 7, I don't really see that happening for them right now. Now, if it went to 3.5, 4, I would probably jump on Carolina, but you're probably not going to see that happen. So we'll just pass on that altogether. We have Houston and Chicago. I instantly bet Houston when this line came out. It was Chicago minus 2.5. I didn't think any way it would go up to 3. I don't really understand the line movement here. It did go up to 3. We took the money line on Houston. I'll probably grab the 3 now. Maybe for another unit. We already put 2 on the money line, so I don't want to be too overexposed on a bad team. But I don't really understand Chicago being favored. Like, I don't get it. They've done nothing. Justin Fields has completed like 10 or 11 passes through 2 games. He's terrible. Their offense is terrible. Their defense is okay, I guess. Like, they can pressure the quarterback, but yeah, I don't see where their points are going to come from. They had a couple fluky plays against San Francisco to win that game. They did absolutely nothing against the Packers. Yeah, Houston in this game for me. Houston plus 3, Houston money line. Like I said, they're a bad team, so I don't want to be too overexposed. I wouldn't say like put a bunch of money down in this game, but from the numbers aspect, it doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll be riding Houston. KC and Indy. When this line came out, it started at minus 7. I instantly jumped on the Colts at plus 7. I figured it would drop to a 6, 6.5. I did not think it would drop under a 6. So now I'm a little wondering if I should buy back the other way and just buy off, or hopefully it lands right on 6 or 7 or something. But I don't really understand the huge line movement. Like I said, I thought it would drop a little because I thought getting a whole touchdown at home, 0-2 team who's looked bad, who obviously is going to start to look a little better. It seems like everyone's kind of running on that narrative, though. I don't know if this is like the sharps are all over this game. God damn, this truck wants to hit me. Yeah, I don't really understand the whole huge line movement. I love my number at plus 7. Maybe throw the Chiefs in on a money line parlay or something, but absolutely no way I would take the Colts plus 5.5. Like, this line doesn't really make any sense anymore. At 6, I could understand. At the current line, though, it's Chiefs or nothing. Don't get involved with Indy at that line unless you're gonna take some money line for some crazy stuff. I don't know. I wouldn't get into it though. Philly and Washington. This line came out at minus 7 or 7. No, minus 8. Sorry, minus 8 was the first line. Instantly got hammered. I had the line minus 6, almost 6.5. So I was thinking, when it first came out, I would take Washington plus 7.5, plus 8, wherever I could find it. I couldn't find it immediately, and then by the time I woke up the next morning, the line was gone. So I probably won't get involved here. I do think it's a divisional game. Washington coming off of a loss. The situational aspect of it. From a situational aspect, I liked Washington. I do think they'll keep it pretty close. You see this a lot in the NFL. Coming off a bad loss, you're going to play better. A team coming off of a huge win tends to play down. It's just like the Vikings did. God, I have stuffy, what do we call it? Some phlegm. I got some phlegm. Anyways, just from the situational aspect, I do like Washington. I probably will still play it. I don't love it though. Not with under a 7. I don't love it, but I think it's for a reason. I don't think they want to leave that 7 up there anymore. I do think this is a close game. I would predict the Eagles. I'll say the Eagles win, even though I do think it's a potential upset. I'll say they win 27-23. Somewhere right around that area, 3 or 4 point game. I do kind of like Washington to cover. I'm kind of talking myself into it right now, to be honest. I'll probably play it. Anyways, Buffalo and Miami. This one, have people seen Buffalo play? Like, I bet on I bet on the Titans plus 10. I only did that because they usually will play kind of like a keep away football game. They'll run the ball, they play action, they keep the offense off the field. They had like 4 turnovers. They had chances early, couldn't convert, and then the game just got out of hand. And if you're gonna turn the ball over against Buffalo, they're gonna put work on you, bro. Like, we saw that. It's a division game. I don't think you're gonna see Buffalo, lay an egg. I think this is their year to just kind of go out and just murder every team. They will lay some eggs. I don't see that happening so early already this week. In week 3, they had a pretty easy game. The starters didn't really have to play the fourth quarter. It's a short week, but like I said, they get some extra rest in the fourth quarter. It wasn't a tough game. Miami, on the other hand, they had a huge comeback win. I think this is when you have these huge wins like this, it tends to be a letdown spot. Now, obviously, they're playing Buffalo, so they're not going to just roll over and, they're not playing bad competition or anything, but I can see them starting slow. I can see Buffalo getting out to a huge lead, like maybe not huge, maybe 14-0, maybe 17-6 or something like that. And then Miami will have to try to play catch up. And it's not going to be like last week where you're able to just decimate that defense, because Buffalo's defense is really good. And I think Buffalo lays the wood on Miami this week. I didn't really understand the line being under 6. I think most places have it at 6 now. I think the line should be a solid 7, maybe 8. I think this game is going to get out of hand. I'm going to predict 35-20. I think it's a 2 touchdown game. don't see Miami putting up the points like they did last week. I see them kind of getting ran over right now, especially after that huge game. I really like Buffalo in this spot. Take Buffalo -6. We got, where am I at? Oh, Cincy and New York. One second, please. Cincy's looked bad, obviously. Week 1, they played the Steelers. TJ Watt was having a field day until he got hurt. We were on the Steelers. Everyone was like, I don't see how the Steelers are going to stay in this game, blah, blah, blah. Defense. I knew the defense would help them stay in the game. Next week, they played Dallas. Dallas didn't have a quarterback. It doesn't matter. All these quarterbacks are capable. I mean, they're not all going to be great, but they're capable. They're in the NFL for a reason. So the huge overreaction to Dak being out didn't make sense to me. We took Dallas. They ended up winning outright. And it's another thing. Dallas has a good pass rush. Problem with the Bengals, they cannot block. They went out, got a couple more linemen. They still can't block. I don't know what it is, but they cannot block. Now you're playing the Jets, who can't rush the passer. This is a prime game for the Bengals to get in the win column, to have a breakout game. I don't see this one being really that close. I think the defense has a good game. And I think the offense has a good game. And they run over the Jets. I would say 28-17 Cincy. I would make this line a hard 7.5, 8 points. If they were 2-0, this game might be sitting like just under 10, maybe like a 9.5. But the fact that they're 0-2 and they haven't looked that great, it's sitting at 6. It's a good buy low opportunity to get on the Bengals here. I think some of the favorites this week are gonna be, some good blowout games. I think the public likes to bet favorites. I think the public might have a decent week betting them this week. But yeah, I would take, it's Bengals or absolutely nothing for me in that game, and it's a good money line parlay. We've had Buffalo, we've had the Bengals, we've had the Browns, we had the Vikings, and the Chiefs. There's a lot of good money lines this week, especially for situations. The Vikings coming off of a loss, Bengals are 0-2, the Browns coming off of that stupid loss against the Jets. These are some good situational bets that you don't typically see, all stack up in 1 week like this. So yeah, some good favorites for the public to win this week. I think the public has a good week this week. Let's see. We have Green Bay and the Bucks. This game, not a whole lot of people saw, the game with the Bucks in New Orleans. They just know the injuries. They know Tom Brady. Most people saw what Green Bay did in Chicago, and they whooped their ass. So you see some early jumping on, early money jumping on Green Bay. Move the line. I think it's a -1 for the Bucks right now. And I guess I understand it, but sure, the Bucks haven't played good. The Bucks haven't played good, and they're still 2-0. Like, how are you guys not seeing this? And I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. The Bucks defense is probably the best in the league. No, it's not. It is the best in the league, and it's probably one of the best defenses in the last 5 years or something like that. The defense is really good, and the Packers' offense, their receivers aren't that great. They have Lazard is like their best receiver. Anyways, I think Green Bay's going to struggle to score points here this game. Yeah, they might try to run the ball. Forget his name, Vita, whatever is. No, Akeem. Is it Akeem Nicks? Someone is out on the Bucs D line. Trying to drive and remember all this is hard, but D lineman for the Bucs is out. But they have a great D line, so I don't know if that's really going to affect them that much. I think the Packers will try to run the ball, and it probably won't be that successful, and they're going to have to, end up throwing. Now on the other side of the ball, the Bucs, if they have all these injuries and Mike Evans is suspended, they're probably going to be struggling to move the ball themselves. But I still think they have an edge over Green Bay. And I still think they're a way better team overall. Their defense is better. Quarterback play, I would lean to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback of all time. But he has no receivers. The Bucs probably similar with the receiving core. All that to say, I would lean to Tampa, the current number. Anything under 3, I believe, is a good spot to play Tampa here. Until someone proves they can beat them, even when they're playing bad, I don't really understand the line movement here. I would take the Bucs -1. I would take it up to -2. Maybe a 2.5, but yeah, there's no way I'm playing Green Bay in this spot. Next one, Las Vegas and Tennessee. This is a tough game for me. Tennessee, we said this from the beginning. They lost their whole offense. They have no receivers, and I don't understand what they thought was going to happen, but you lose all your receivers and then you just want to run the ball and you're not really utilizing the play action like they were last year. They've looked awful, and the coaching has been dreadful. I don't understand what they're doing. Their play calling is absolutely terrible right now. And on the other side, Las Vegas, they had a big lead against Arizona. But, with the Raiders, they're primed to giving up points. Their defense has been terrible for the last decade or so. And you're going to give up points, especially if you can't close out games. You're leaving them in it. I had the Cardinals live. I think I took them at +720. I hit a huge live bet on them. You see that a lot in the NFL with these teams. They don't close out games. They leave the other team hanging around, and then they give it up. The problem in this game, I don't see how they're going to stop. Let me rephrase this. If Tennessee calls a good game and calls early down play actions, I don't see the Raiders stopping Derrick Henry in the play action. Now, if Tennessee just keeps running into a wall and then passing 3rd and 10, if you're setting up your offense for failure, then it's going to be a failure. I think they'll have Hilliard back. I have to check to make sure on that. I think this is a good buy low spot on Tennessee. if Tennessee played a better game and kept it somewhat reasonable against the Bills, I would think you would have them favored in this game. Right now they're getting +2. It's the last time I think it was. I checked. I think it's a good buy low. I would take Tennessee money line here. I wouldn't really care about the 2 points. I said from the beginning the Raiders were going to struggle. Their offense is always going to score points, but their defense is terrible, and they didn't really address it. Their offensive line is not good, and I don't even think they're going to win 8 games this year. Maybe they figure something out, but I think going into the season, I had them right around 8 or 9 wins. Now, starting 0-2, I would say they probably get 7. But, I think there's a good buy low spot on Tennessee. If Tennessee wins this game, maybe you could buy low on the Raiders next week. But, it's Tennessee or nothing for me in this game. Let's say they win 23-20. Jacksonville and the Chargers. This one's kind of hard with the Herbert situation. If it was -7 and he was healthy, I'd be on the Chargers. I think he's playing, but obviously he's hurt. I don't really know what their game plan is going to be. If they're just going to be like, let's try to just run the ball and play defense and keep him from getting hit. I don't really know. So it's kind of a toss-up. I do think they win because it's a good situational spot. They're coming off of a loss. It's a long week to prepare. They played on Thursday. So they had extra rest. Jacksonville coming off that whooping they laid on Indy. So it's probably a good teaser play. Like I said, I just don't know with the injury situation. But I would definitely lean to the Chargers -7 in here. Short and simple on that one. We have Atlanta and Seattle. It's a dirt fest. They both are just bad teams. I think Seattle is a little bit worse. I had Seattle at 5 wins max this year. They got a huge one in week 1. We did have that. We bet on Seattle that game. We took some money line. I think they're a very easy team to figure out. They can't really run the ball that well. And their offense is going to rely on Geno Smith getting the ball out to DK and Lockett. Their offensive line isn't that good, so he has to get the ball out quick. Atlanta, problem with them is their defense is bad. They have good corner and then a decent corner, so that their secondary isn't terrible, but the rest of the defense is pretty bad. They're going to give up points. Their offense with Mariota and Patterson is good, but other than that, they have no receivers. It's a weird game. This one might be a good prop game. I kind of like Mariota getting some scrambling yards, getting some rushing yards. If I had to pick, I would say the Falcons win this game, but it's not really something I would be, I don't want to put my hard-earned money on this game right now. Maybe if the line moved to like Seattle -1.5 or something like that, then I would tease the Falcons up, get it past 7.5. But at the moment, I think it's like a half point. It's not really worth teasing. So I would probably wait on this maybe until Saturday or Sunday and see where the line goes. It's good teaser play if you could get it. Other than that, I probably wouldn't touch it other than the props. I think both defenses are pretty bad. The problem is both offenses are also bad, and they're probably not going to score a lot of points. I don't really like the over, but I do like the props. I think you'll see some rushing yards. You'll see a lot of yards, but not a lot of points, if that makes sense. Moving on, we have the Rams in Arizona. This game came out -4, instantly grabbed the Rams, and then the next day it went down to 3.5. And I thought, if anything, the line would have went the other way. I didn't really understand the movement down, like, because they came back against the Raiders, people are gonna put their money on them now. Like, I don't really understand what happened. Do we not? So the Rams were up big against Atlanta. Atlanta got a lot of garbage time points to get the cover. And then in the other game, Cardinals were down big. They came back and won. I don't get it. I guess it's just, you look at the scoreboard and you see what the final was. I don't know. People are betting that. I don't really understand. But if you watch the games, the Rams were moving the ball. They were scoring points, and then they just kind of gave it up late. Arizona couldn't do shit until the fourth quarter, and then they started scoring some points, and they got pretty lucky to win the game. Yeah, I don't understand the 3.5. I would lay on the Rams up till -6. I don't understand that. 5.5 would be the cutoff. Once it hits a 6, I would stay off. But at this current number, I don't really get it. I'm taking the Rams. These Rams are nothing. I get it. It's a divisional game. The Cardinals are not good. Their defense is trash. Their offense is mediocre. It's Kyler versus your whole Rams defense. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have any threats right now other than Kyler scrambling. But I think with the Rams D-line, they're just going to feast, and I'll say they get 4 or 5 sacks this week. I don't think this one's going to be really that close. It's like 27. I'll give the Cardinals 17 to be nice, but I think it could be worse than that. I think it's at least a 10-point win, maybe closer to a 14, 17-point win. Yeah, I don't really understand that one. SF and Denver. This one's hard. Obviously, SF looks appealing. You got Jimmy G back in there, so the offense is actually moving the ball. Once Trey Lance went out, offense immediately moved the ball and scored some points. And then the second half, Shanahan went with the stupid-ass fucking, just run the ball, try to play it safe, try not to lose type bullshit. And, it worked because Seattle's terrible, but, yeah, I can't stand that. Just put your foot on their throats and end the game. Anyways, Denver's looked bad, especially on offense. Their offenses look terrible. Their defenses look pretty good. They gave up some big plays against Seattle, but their offense also put them in terrible situations. They fumbled like 3 times. I think Denver gets back on track. Eventually their offense has to play better, and it will. I think there's some chemistry things going on. It takes some time to get used to each other. Russell Wilson's kind of got to figure it out. I don't know if they'll necessarily figure it out this week. I think SFD line is pretty good, and this one's a tough game. I probably won't play anything. If anything, I would tease Denver up. I would tease them to a 7.5 or 8, whatever the current line is. I think it's a close game. Denver, they get to play at home, so SF going into Mile High. think it's a close game. I don't really see SF running away with it. I can see Denver winning. I would take Denver on the teaser. That'd be my play for that this week. If I had to guess, I'll say SF gets the win 24-21 SF. But yeah, tease Denver up. And then Monday Night Football, you have Dallas and New York Giants. The line came out -2.5. I instantly jumped on Dallas. I think it was +125 on the money line. Instantly grabbed that. Now this line has moved in the correct position, I guess. I would still have Dallas favored, maybe -1. Not by much, just barely favored. I didn't understand the line when it first came out. If they lost to Cincy, we probably would have got a better number, obviously. Because they won, now you're gonna get close to a pick'em. The Giants, because they're 2-0, right? They beat Tennessee, and then they won last week, so they're 2-0. So that's probably why the line is sitting the way it is. They haven't looked good. They beat a bad Titans team. They came back, and then they beat a bad Carolina team. And it probably should have lost both games. But they're 2-0. Both their wins. Hard to win NFL. They're 2-0. They'll be 2-1 after this week, though. I think that D-line is going to feast. I think they're going to give Daniel Jones a lot of problems. Probably see a sack fumble one in there. Dallas's defenses look good. They held Brady to like 19 points, I think it was. And then last week they held the Bengals. I don't remember what their score was, 13 or 17 or something like that. But yeah, they held them down both games. Defenses look good. It's just the offense. If the offense can move the ball, they won't have any problems. The defense is going to keep them in a lot of games this year, especially if, with Dak out. They have a good running game. They should probably use the play action more. But yeah, I don't see the Giants being able to, first of all, score points. Secondly, I don't think they're going to be great on defense. Dallas gets the win, 24-17. That's it for this week, week 3 of the NFL season. You can follow me on my bet stamp at White Light Bets. Twitter, same thing. Join my Discord. I'll put it all in the links, but let's make some money this week. Peace.